My castaway this week was born in Sheffield and lived there until he enlisted in the armed forces, the Royal Air Force and then the Royal Army Medical Corps. On leaving the forces, he returned to Sheffield and has worked in the health service since in a variety of roles. He moved to Dronfield in 2004 and has been involved in the Scouts at the Baptist Church for the last 15 years and currently is the group Scout leader there. He has been involved in St John's Church Choir for the last 10 years and he's been married to Catherine for nearly 23 years and has two grown-up children, Richard and Alex, and the whole family sing in the parish church choir. He lists family, scouting and music as important to him. So Andrew Shaw, welcome to COVID Island Discs.
Thank you.
It's great to have you with us. You're the third member of the parish church choir who have appeared on COVID Island Discs, and I begin to wonder if there's something up there with the choir. And we don't like to point fingers here on COVID Island Discs, but I wonder if it might be something to do with that director of music, Rob Aldred.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, he's a suspicious character, I think. The fact that he supports Everton gives me cause for concern. But I have a little poke at Rob. It's just a little thing we've got going on since he keeps calling me Dr. Ennis from Poldark. So I need to get back at him somehow.
Definitely.
Andrew, it's great to have you with us on the show. I've known you for a few years from when I was a curate and used to take services down at St John's. So you've been involved with the church for 10 years. How did it happen? Did you just sort of walk into church one day or?
No, not at all. Richard, my eldest, came home from school one day. Rob had been into the school.
Rob.
And yeah, it was all down to Rob. He'd been into school and Richard had brought a flyer home and he said, "Dad, can I join the church choir?" Now, at that time, we weren't involved with St John's at all. And being a true Yorkshireman, my first thoughts was, how much? It's an after-school activity. These things cost. And he said, no, Dad, it don't cost anything, but I really want to join. Thought, well, if it's free, why not? So Richard joined the choir before me. So he did, and at the time, I couldn't join when he did because my wife was going through treatment for breast cancer.
Right.
So Richard and I would go on a Sunday. I would take Richard on a Sunday morning and leave Catherine and Alex to have some quality time without us. And then it was about the time Rob was thinking about the charity concerts we started doing.
Mm-hmm.
And over the time Richard had been in the choir, he had said to me, Andrew, come and join. And it just never was the right time. But then I only joined to do the first charity concert.
Right.
And as some, it was pointed out, it'll be a slippery slope. And, I'm still there 10 years on.
Amazing. Yeah. I think, it's just finding that open door, isn't it, into churches and getting invited to things. And then you can end up getting quite involved. And I'm glad that's happened and that you've got such a lot out of singing in the choir. And so we'll talk more about that as we go through. But let's hear about your first piece of music.
So my first piece of music takes me back to my army days.
Okay.
As a young, I think I was 19, 20, just posted out to Minden in Germany.
Right.
And my unit was asked to take part in what was called the Minden Mass Bands. And one of the Scottish regiments nearby actually were taking part and they played this piece of music. And it's a bit Marmite, it's got bagpipes in it, love it or hate it. But I was hooked on this piece of music, and it's just a great piece of music, and it's called Highland Cathedral.
actually. It reminds me, obviously, the only time I really hear or see a piper is on Remembrance Sunday. I don't know whether you have them in Dronfield, but when I used to do the services up at Colaston, a piper would come and would play, and it really sent shivers down the spine.
Mm. Yeah, and as it progresses towards the end, and it's quite a repetitive theme that runs through it, but it just builds and builds and builds. So the whole orchestra or band's playing, and it's just a great piece of music.
Yeah. So, in terms of your own sort of spiritual journey of Christian faith, I mean, is that something that's come sort of since you've been at St. John's, or did it predate that?
It predates that. My grandfather was the local parish priest. So all my life I've attended a church somewhere. And I, in fact, joined my local church choir when I was 8, and was there up until I enlisted in the forces. And so it's always been there in the background. Just something I've done, in those days, we went twice on a Sunday. It was always communion in the morning, evensong in an evening. And it's just something I've always had in the background. When I was in Germany, we went there was a big military pilgrimage to Lourdes.
Right. And
that was, again, just a great experience to undertake.
Yeah.
We spent 10 days down there.
Wow.
And it was multinational. And we were actually, the officer that took us, when we on the way back, he said, "How about we try and organise an audience with the Pope for the following year?" But unfortunately, being in the army, that kind of got in the way, and I got sent on tour. So and then we all got posted to various places. So we never actually organised it. But I've always had a faith in the background somewhere.
Yeah. And would you say that being at St. John's over the last 10 years has sort of nurtured that and encouraged it?
Oh, definitely, especially having a choir like we've got at St. John's. It's something that, it's just really helped in times of difficulty that, we all get in our life. Just being able to sing and just leave everything, leave your troubles at the door, go and have a good sing and pick them back up afterwards, and you look differently on them. Yeah,
that's true. Somebody once said to me that they sort of go into church with the weight of the world on their shoulders, and when they come out, those problems aren't gone, but they just feel lighter.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us about your second disc.
So anybody that's been to a service at St. John's will have probably heard at the start of the choir practice beforehand, we always, and on the Thursday night choir practice, we always say the chorister's prayer. And this is my second piece. It was only written, I think, in the last year or so. And it's just the chorister's prayer has been put to music by Philip Stopford. And it is, again, it's just a great way to, and the chorister's prayer, it's something that isn't just for choristers, and it's actually something that anybody can use in their Christian life. It's just, just, again, good piece of music.
Yeah. I'll put you on the spot here, Andrew, but could you say the chorister's prayer? I'm sure you know it off the top of your head.
Yeah. So the chorister's prayer is, "Bless, O Lord, us thy servants that minister in thy temple. Grant that what we sing with our lips we may believe in our hearts, and what we believe in our hearts we may show forth in our life, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen." And if you switch the word "sing" to "say," So what we say with our lips, we may believe it's for everybody.
Yeah.
Bless, O Lord, as thy servants who minister in thy temple. Grant us what we sing with our lips, we may believe in our hearts. Bless, O Lord, as thy servants who minister in thy temple. Grant that what we sing with our lips, we may believe in our hearts. And what we believe in our hearts, we may show forth in our lives. And what we believe in our hearts, we may show forth in our lives. And what we believe in our hearts, we may show forth in our lives. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Through Jesus Christ our Lord.
Yeah, so if you go to the church and you're there early enough, people will hear you praying that prayer, won't they?
Yeah, every Sunday morning practice, every Thursday practice. Yeah, it's good words to have.
Yeah, good. Just to get you the right frame of mind for what's about to come. So obviously it's been a tough old year, hasn't it? How have you coped, Andrew, on COVID Island?
Like everybody, lots of ups and lots of downs. I actually had COVID myself
Goodness.
over Easter last year. Thankfully, fully recovered. I really had it very mild, but it was hard being isolated from my family at the time. And yeah, it's just been lots and lots of ups and downs. Like a lot of families, we've had bereavements within that time.
Right.
Not being able to see my wife's family don't live in Dronfield. They live in just outside Nottingham, so we've not really been able to go and visit family. So it's just all those sociable things that we would normally do quite a lot have been really restricted. And with work, I work, like I say, I work in the health service. A lot of my job is going and visiting people. And from like March to probably November, I didn't do a single home visit.
Right.
We did it all by telephone. So again, that being able to actually see people and just being able to talk to them, visit people and all that. I can't think of the word.
Yeah, the sort of connections.
Yeah, it's just been, and not seeing my work colleagues apart from the odd Zoom meeting when I'd normally see them daily. It has been difficult. And
has music helped you this year?
Yeah, anybody that's seen me driving around will have heard my very eclectic range of music, but I do like to have a good sing when I'm driving around as well. It just lifts your spirit.
So your third piece of music is very different to what you've chosen so far. Tell us about it.
Yeah, not many people would probably put meatloaf into a faith topic.
Yeah.
But this particular piece, and it, especially after, like I say, we did have family bereavements this year, and when he's got words, give me all of your dreams, give me all of your prayers, and I'll turn your night into day. With music, you can, those really dark periods in your life, you put on the right bit of music, and it turns those dark periods into daytime.
Heaven can wait, and a band of angels wrapped up in my heart will take me through the lonely night, through the cold of the day. And I know heaven can wait, and all the gods come down here just to sing for me. And the melody's gonna make me fly without pain, without fear. Give me all of your dreams and let me go along on your way. Give me all of your prayers to sing, and I'll turn the night into the skylight of day. I've got a taste of paradise, I'm never gonna let it slip away. I got a taste of paradise, oh, that's all I really need to make me stay. Just like a child again, heaven can wait, and all I got is time until the end of time. And I won't look back, I won't look back, let the old to shine.
I like a bit of meatloaf.
Yeah, definitely.
He's good, isn't he?
It's very powerful stuff.
Yeah, those words were fantastic. I've never really heard them before, and they're really good. Great words to back up that lovely melody. Yeah. So tell us, Andrew, about a time when you felt great being part of a church. Might be one occasion or a series of occasions.
Yeah, it comes back to St. John's, and with the job that I do, and I do pre-COVID, when St. John's was open daily, on my way home I would often pop in at the end of the day, just so I'm not, just because it's just such a great space, and you can sort your thoughts out before coming home to family life. And one particular day, I was just sat in sorting my head out, ready to come home, and this chap appeared in the back of church. I mean, it was typical. It got a story, I've just come out of prison, and he said, basically, I just need somewhere to sit and eat a sandwich, and he got all the stuff with him. So I said, I got him a table out and just sat and had a chat. It wasn't a particularly, I mean, he did ask me if I was the vicar, and I said no. But I think because I was in St. John's, but just be able to sit and have a chat with him. He was able to tell me his story, and he had his sandwich and he went off on his way, and I didn't really think of it much as a spiritual event, but I think for him just to be able to have somebody sit and listen to him.
Mm.
And that just ties both sides of my life, the health service and just the faith side of my life. And actually look back now and I think, actually, I did all right there.
It's true that sometimes we're more blessed to give than receive, aren't we? And we get so much more out of serving than we do out of giving often. And that's a classic example of that, isn't it?
Yeah, it was good. It was good to be able to be there for him when he needed it.
Yeah, brilliant. And as you say, St. John's is such a wonderful space, isn't it? To just come and just be and sense the presence of God.
And even if you've not got any particular faith at all, just to have that quiet, you can sit and chat or just to be able to sit and, like I say, sort your thoughts out.
Yeah. So tell us about your fourth piece of music, Andrew.
It kind of links back to my second piece, and I've actually chosen one of my favourite hymns. I mean, having sung, like I say, I sang in a church choir from being 8 to 18, and I've sung for the last 10 years at St. John's. I've got so many favourite hymns, but this one is one for, again, it's how we live our life. We have the hymn I've chosen is we have a gospel to proclaim, and it is it's not always being there, but it's just how you live your life, and I feel this hymn is a good way of expressing how even the lay people, we still have a role in, if we live our life in a Christian way, other people will come and talk to us, and we can express it and share our faith with them if they want it.
He broke the power of death and hell that we might share his victory. I mean, that's what we need to hear, isn't it, at the moment?
Yeah. And at the end of the second verse, a light for all. He's there for everyone.
Yeah, that's really, really true. And we've had this heavy news, haven't we, for so long? And the gospel is that light shining in the darkness, isn't it? In the darkness we face this year. So apart from going to church and proclaiming the gospel, what other survival tips have you got for us on wallowing as we are on COVID Island?
It's probably no surprise. My biggest tip is exercise.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter what stage of life you're at, young or old, even if you just get out and go for a walk, especially if you live on your own. If you go for a walk, you might see somebody and you get some interaction. And going for a walk is the best exercise. I say that to all my patients. Go out for a walk, if nothing else. And it's a whole body workout. And for those of us who are of a younger age, whether you go running, whatever, find an exercise you like, kick a football around with your kids, whatever. It releases those feel-good hormones. And yeah, it's just exercise is the best thing we can do at the moment.
Yeah, thank you. I needed that reminder, Andrew.
It had to be my tip.
So, would you believe we've coming to the end? There's one more disc to choose. So, what's your final disc, Andrew?
My last choice probably shows from my scouting at the Baptist church, and certainly in these last few months, where, like you say, it's all the death numbers are going up and cases are going up. It's just my last choice is a piece that, whatever your faith background, it just lifts you. And so for my last piece, I've chosen "Shine, Jesus, Shine."
glad that someone's chosen a Graham Kendrick song. I think this edition of this show is going out on a day when many people will be celebrating Candlemas, or the Feast of the Presentation, and what a great hymn for that occasion. Where we think of the lights shining in the darkness. Shine, Jesus, shine. What a song it is. I think it's about 25, 26 years old now, isn't it?
So,
Yeah. But it's one of the nation's favourite modern hymns or songs, isn't it?
definitely, yeah. It just lifts your spirit when you've sung it, listened to it.
Yeah. Well, so you get to take with you on the island, Andrew, the complete works of Graham Kendrick, which of course includes Shine, Jesus, Shine, the Bible, and a book of your choice. What would you take?
It's a book I read last year, and it's called The Fear Bubble by Ant Middleton, who's an ex-Special Forces guy. And it's kind of two stories in one. The first is about he made an attempt on the summit of Mount Everest, and the first part and the first kind of story in the book is his preparation and his trip up Everest, and the other side of it, he's developed this thing called the fear bubble, and it's a good way that the way he tells it is much better than the way I'm going to tell it. It's how you can harness the power of fear and turn it into a positive force.
Right.
And he explains how you can use it in the daily challenges in your life. And the one that really got me thinking about it was he'd got a young boy, I think he was, who'd been in contact with him, and he was going to drop out of school. He was only 60, but there's no point in me taking my GCSEs because I'm going to fail them all. And he said, no. And he used this fear bubble, and each question on your exam paper, he says, you turn it into a fear bubble. You step in, you deal with it, you step out. And he says, if you take that approach to each question, and this guy actually did really well in his GCSEs. Right. So it obviously works, but and both the stories are kind of intermingled. Right. So he shows how he used the fear bubble on his trip up Everest.
Fantastic. Well, I mean, that's a really helpful book to have with you if you're stuck on the island when you're worried about things that go bump in the night. And you can take one other item with you on the island. So what would you take?
Obviously, from my scouting, I would take a big thing of paracord and a knife so I can make things and occupy my time.
Excellent. I'm so pleased we've had someone from the scouting community on here as well, who I know are really big and popular in Dronfield and district. So yes, so you'll be perfectly fine on the island with your scouting background. And so the final question, Andrew, is which of those 5 discs would you keep?
I think it would probably be the meatloaf one.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, definitely meatloaf.
Wonderful. Well, thanks, Andrew, so much for being my guest on COVID Island Discs. And
thank you for having me.
God bless you, and stay safe and well, and look forward to seeing you in person soon.
Great.